my knees, one ear against the ground, holding her breath to hear something, but the dirt made not a sound tonight.
Welcome back to the Tony Styles Show, the mecca of all things liberty. It's funny to me how so many people out there keep voting for two evils. I try all day to change people, and it's exhausting. People are so trapped by their propaganda du jour fed to them through mass media that they refuse to be free thinkers. Joining me right now is my friend and fellow free thinker, Christina Tobin from the Free and Equal Elections Foundation. Christina, how you doing?
Tony, good evening. Great. How have you been?
I'm doing great. I'm having a great day. I'm out in Chicago now. I'm hanging out with our friend Gary Franchi out here, doing work with him. I'm feeling really good about it, too.
Cool. Gary's great. He's got a great family, great wife, and a little munchkin, too.
Yeah,
Baby Gary Franchi.
Baby Gary is adorable. I love that kid. I love chasing him around. And he's talking to Blue Streak now, too, and that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's get to talking about you. All right, Free and Equal Election Foundation. I want to hear from you, and I want everybody listening to hear from you. I want to hear about how rigged these elections really are and how one-sided this system really is.
Yeah, definitely. Here at Free and Equal Elections, we're truly a 501c3 nonprofit that's here to really open up the elections, bring about a transparency, and shift the power back to the individual voter. So, mainstream media leads us to believe that voter fraud is a huge issue. When a person goes in and votes or votes twice, and in Ohio, legal women voters, I think there were 9 million voters, and there were 4 cases of voter fraud, which were tied to the Republican operatives. It's just not as big of an issue. It's the actual electoral fraud. And what I mean by electoral fraud is the voter machines and flipping the vote and black box voting. Beth Harris is a huge advocate, in support of open source software. I am, and many others. So it's just it's really, really a rigged system, and I really don't blame it on the voters who haven't voted. The system, they want you to think your vote counts, and under the current system with all this fraud, it doesn't. But it's going to count in the future, and that's when everybody's going to rise and vote.
How is it going to count in the future? I'm confused because it seems to me that everything's pretty bleak.
Yeah, well, there's this bright light that's lighting up the tunnel, not even at the end of the tunnel anymore. I met you last year when Free and Equal, we hosted that presidential debate moderated by Larry King and myself. It was pretty cool.
That was a good time.
And, it's just, I got off stage seeing all the thousands out in the audience and mostly young faces, and it was like tens of millions. I know Gary Franchi aired it through RTR, which was awesome, RT America, Al Jazeera Live, and C-SPAN, so on. And we were top 10 trending on Twitter, and I just looked up, and I was like, the youth, they're our future. And, of course, we the people, all of us working together. So, we went by the quote Ron Paul once said, if you're ever going to bring about a revolutionary change, you would need 2 things, the youth and music. So we're kicking off a 10-stop university bus tour beginning at UCLA.
I love it that you're so good at this that you just go ahead and you don't even wait for me to ask the question.
Wow. I guess
no, go for it. I'm listening. So, Christina Tobin, tell me about this concert that you're going to be having.
Well, it's a 5-minute interview, I was told, so I jumped right to it. And United, I always ask for an interview. How long is it? How quick does it move?
No, go for it. Let's hear it.
Cool. It's bringing together leaders from the founder of March Against Monsanto to Occupy.com, backing it, shifting the whole Occupy movement towards free and equal, to law enforcement against prohibition and Students for Sensible Drug Policy, groups on war on GMOs, on PANDA, people against NDAA, Dan Johnson, great leader there, to honest media like Josh Tolley and Amber Lyons, all coming together to recognize, hey, we need to rise and inspire people to run for Congress, House of Representatives, beginning with those local races in 2014, congressional, that is. And through our movement, we're going to provide a platform for these congressional candidates, primarily the House of Representatives.
I love it.
Speak like Marianne Williamson, who's a spiritual author.
Yep.
She's huge, New York Times bestselling, running in California's 33rd for Congress.
Familiar.
She's one of our keynote speakers.
Wonderful. I think I'm going to run for mayor of Chicago in about 4 years. Maybe 6 years. What do you think?
Good luck with that. I think you're destined to do greater things.
I think they'd probably kill me before I got anywhere close. That's my opinion. You know how Chicago works. You're out in Los Angeles now. Is that correct?
I am, but I'm really virtual. I plan on traveling throughout the world and visiting every country and fellow leaders to spread the message, a positive, powerful, solution-based message. And when we rise in a majority of independents, it's not the parties. Parties don't work. They become infiltrated as they become larger. Even the third parties, libertarians and Greens, they do. And so, shifting back to the origins of the Constitution, there's no mention of parties, no mention of corporations.
Absolutely.
We, the people, will rise and take our government back. It's free and equal here to help achieve that.
So you're an optimist in this whole thing.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the system wants us to give up, and if you give up, then they win. You're part of the problem. That's not an option in my way of thinking. And when we start to rise and realize that giving up's not an option, and that not only being optimistic, but I'm a realist. I mean, anything
Sure.
is possible, and with the power of technology, media, we can do anything. Freeandequal.org if you want to check us out.
Freeandequal.org. I've been there a million times. I love that place. You guys have great things going on, Christine Tobin. Come back anytime. You're always welcome. You're a great person to have on. Always great content. Love you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sweetie. That was Christina Tobin, the Free and Equal Election Foundation. When we come back, we're going to be talking to Lil Ponte. He seems to think that Obama is the Grinch that stole Christmas. I can't wait to hear this. Stick around. You're listening to The Tony Styles Show.
Rate yourself